U.S. President Joe Biden arrived in Saudi Arabia to a subdued reception. That may have been because of his past comments about the kingdom.
We were going to, in fact, make them pay the price and make them, in fact, the pariah that they are.
A pledge he made as a presidential candidate after a CIA report suggested the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman may have ordered the 2018 killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The president's goal is to reset relations and convince the kingdom to pump more oil to bring down fuel prices in the United States.
I'm doing all I can to increase the supply for the United States of America, which I expect to happen.
But strained ties have made that a challenge, evident as Biden arrived at the Saudi palace offering the crown prince just a fist bump. A moment not well received back in the United States. Khashoggi's publisher, Fred Ryan at the Washington Post, calling it shameful, delivering MBS the redemption he was desperately seeking. And Khashoggi's fiancée warning Biden that the blood of any future victim will be on his hands.
I'm sorry she feels that way. I was straightforward back then. I was straightforward today. Basically, he said that he was not personally responsible for it. I indicated I thought he was.
Earlier in Biden's meeting with the Crown Prince, the press confronted both men.
Jamal Khashoggi, will you apologize to his family, sir?
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
President Biden, is Saudi Arabia still a pariah? President Biden.
This was the response of the Crown Prince. He appeared to smirk. A serious question left unanswered, with reporters then ushered out.
Well, joining us now here in the studio is our White House correspondent, Kimberly Halkett. Kimberly, I think it's fair to say that President Biden hasn't had the easiest of trips. He's now on his final day in the Middle East. What can we expect from Biden's meetings today?
Yeah, well, the hard work is over for the president. Really, the American media that has been following him was focused on that handshake, fist bump, what was it going to be moment with the Crown Prince. So the president is perhaps breathing a sigh of relief. And now he's into an area that feels a little bit more comfortable for him. He's a senior statesman. He has that foreign policy experience behind him. He's going into a realm of diplomacy that he feels more at ease. So he's going to be in a series of meetings. He's going to be having some key bilateral meetings with leaders of the UAE, Iraq, Egypt, before he expands to meet with the broader Gulf Cooperation Council that includes also Iraq, Jordan, Egypt. It's known as the GCC+3. And this is where there's going to be the opportunity to have those broad diplomatic discussions and really get into kind of the meat of the visit that the president was really trying to do. And that is reassert the United States in the region in terms of its interests and its values. This is where the president really hopes to make some gains. So this is important to the president. This is important to his advisors because what they see as this being critically important for the relationships, but also of strategic value to the United States, because the big concern being that if the United States does not maintain these relationships, there is this sort of security vacuum, and this vacuum that is increasingly being filled by both Russia and China.
How do you think he will return to the U.S.? Is he going back empty-handed? Will he have achieved what he wanted from this trip?
In short, no. And this is a problem for the president. And the White House is already doing a little bit of damage control. They sent out a fact sheet less than 24 hours ago where they tried to kind of portray that the president has secured this oil, deal, if you will, to get the Saudis to pump more oil, which was the goal of this visit. But in fact, this is something that was already announced by OPEC about a month ago. And what this is to increase for July and August above 50% above the existing levels of July and August. So this is nothing new. And it's sort of being passed off as something new because there is nothing new to announce. And so this is a problem for the White House. So essentially, the president is, as you say, going back empty-handed. And that's not a good look for a president who's already unpopular, is trying to find a solution to these high fuel prices back at home and doesn't have an answer, has already got very low approval ratings in the United States, and this is not going to help that. So the president is trying to sort of tout some of the other successes that he feels has been achieved with this trip. For example, allowing Israel to use Saudi airspace, improving the ties between Israel and Saudi Arabia. But I can tell you, while that may matter to the partners in the region, it's not mattering a lot to those back in the United States that are voting for him come November in those congressional elections. Not the president, sorry, but his party members.
Thank you for that, Kimberly Halkett, our White House correspondent.